Hi ladies, in this video I'm going to show you how to program your CAS calculator. So you can actually program it to do a lot of things. We're just going to use the calculator to program some formulas that you've come across this year. So you've come across the quadratic formula, you've got the sine rule, the cosine rule, and we're also going to be doing the area of a triangle. So I'm going to start off just with a basic one. I'm not going to do them all because once you get the hang of what to do, you'll be able to do all your own. So the area of a triangle is a half times base times height. Okay, so that's when you're given a triangle and you know its base and you know the height. Okay, so just your basic triangle formula that you probably have seen for a very long time. There are two others and we'll do them shortly as well. Now with your basic triangle, let's do the formula. So following these steps, menu, functions and programs, program editor, and we just want to go to new. Okay, so your name of your function, we don't want to overcomplicate it. Now with the area of the triangle, because there's three types, you've got to kind of think, well, what can I remember? So even if you just do area triangle and then BH for base height, whatever you use, you kind of need to remember, although it will be put in your calculator anyway. So don't think it's like a password that you entered 5 years ago that you're all of a sudden going to have to remember. Okay, so it's a function and we want to make it available. So we'll do show in catalog. So the name will change depending on what formula you're going to use. The type, we're just entering in formulas. So we're just going to do a function. We're not going to overly complicate it by doing a program. And library access, we'll just do library public, show in catalog. Okay. All right, so your screen is split into two parts. On the left-hand side is your normal calculator screen, and then on the right-hand side is where we're going to put in our function. So if we just scroll up, okay, so you can see there's the name of our function, area of a triangle BH. Now, in the brackets, we put in whatever our variables are. So ours are going to be B and H for base and height. And then just use your arrows to go down, and then you can see function here. So basically what we're putting here is the formula for the area of a triangle. So I'm just going to put it in brackets. Half, so 0.5 times base times height. Now, that's all you need to do. Just go to menu, check syntax and store, and just number 1. And it's a bit hard to see, but it's set up the top. You can't see it, but it will say it's stored successfully. So that just means now the calculator knows that you're using that function. Now you're probably sitting there thinking it's just easier to do 0.5 times base times height. Obviously it is, but we're starting with a very basic one. And then we'll do some more complicated ones. So area, triangle, and we did BH. Now, when it goes from italics to bold, it's actually saying, well, I've got this stored in the calculator. So area triangle, then your brackets, the area, your base length. So I'm just going to make one up. So base is 4, height is 6, and then just press enter. So when you think about it, half times 4 times 6 does give you 12. So we know that the formula has been put in correctly. All right, so menu, doc, and we're just going to save it. So go to file, then we're just going to save. And you can have extra folders here if you want to. I'm just going to save it into my documents as, what do they call it? Area triangle BH. Save. Okay, so now when I want to use that again, I can just go to browse. Okay, and there it is there. I click on it and it brings back this screen. Okay, let's create a new one. So menu, new, add calculator. Okay, I'm going to go back to my Word screen to show you the area of, or the other formula for the area of a triangle. So we could also have, I'm going to change color, area equals half BC sine A. And obviously there's multiply signs in there, so I'll just do that, and that's your angle. So this is when you have a triangle and you've got the angle here at A and you've got the two other sides, B and C. So that's how your labeling has to be for this formula. So half BC times sine A. So you need those three things. Obviously, it depends how you label your triangle. So it's just easier if you call your angle that you know A and the two sides either side of that angle. So B and C have to be there because remember A is down here. Okay, so let's put that formula into, whoops. Okay, so just as we did before, functions and programs, program editor, new. Okay, so we're still doing the area of a triangle, but this time we're using sine A. It looks a bit weird because you have to use all lowercase. You can't, even if you put uppercase here, it will change it back to lowercase. So whatever you call it, you need to remember, but it will be on the right-hand screen for you. So if you wanted to limit it to letters, you could do A, try, sine. But when I read that, I'll be like, what's atrazine? So that's why I prefer to use full words. So area, triangle, sine. Okay, so we're doing a function and we're going to make it in the public library. Okay, so remember what we need to do is go back up to here, and in our brackets we put our variables. So remember we've got B, C and A. So I'm going to do that, B, C, I don't think I need spaces, but I'm going to put spaces in, and capital A. And then we say, all right, what is the formula? So just in your brackets, we had half times B times C times sine A. And I've noticed that my calculator is in radian mode. So I'm just going to change that to degree mode. And it's all incorrectly. Let's just go to check syntax and store. Oops. Let's do that again. Sorry. Oh. Let's go back on there. Okay. So we can't see what it said, but I'm pretty sure what I've said stored successfully. All right, so on this side, what we need to do is put it in the formula, area triangle, sine, that's what I did, and put the A on the end. And then we put the variables in. So I'm just trying to think of one that we would know the answer to. I'm going to do 10, 30. Okay, so, all right, so I know that's correct because B times C, so 10 times 10 is 100. Half of that is 50, and then sine of 30 is half. So I know my exact value. So the answer is correct at 25. So I'm now going to save that. Gosh, what am I doing? File, save, and we've already saved one, area triangle BH. So I'm going to do this one, area triangle sine. Okay, and there it is for you. Now there is Heron's formula as well, which is another rule that we can use for the area of a triangle, but that is a lot more complicated. But if you're interested, you can go and look that up on the internet. But basically that means we don't have an angle, but we know the lengths of three sides. But I'm going to now do, just because I don't want the video to go for too long, is to do the quadratic formula. Because the quadratic formula is slightly different. Okay, so we know the quadratic formula is negative b plus minus the square root of b squared, minus 4ac over 2a. Now remember, that is split into two because we got the plus and the minus. So when we put it into the calculator, we actually have to put those two solutions in. Okay, so let's go to the calculator. All right, so we'll go to new document, add calculator. All right, so menu, functions and programs, program editor, new. Okay, so I'm going to just do, you can just write quad for quadratic formula, and it's a function, and we're going to do library public. Okay, so in your quadratic formula, remember we've got the values of a, b, and c. So I'm going to do a, b, c. Now, because we've got two solutions, in this spot here, I'm going to have to add a spot for 2 dots. So if I go to, now it's hard to see on this screen. No, I didn't want to do that. Oh, this button here maybe? Okay. So the button next to the 9. These, here we have a library of different things that you might need when you do matrices. So you don't do matrices really in year 10, but you will in VCE. But we're just going to do a 1 by 2 there. So we've got two solutions. So that's represented, each solution represents the solution to the quadratic formula. So let's just type it in. Now, because the quadratic formula is a fraction, so we're going to have negative b plus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c. Make sure you put the multiply sign in. 2 times a. So there's one solution, and then let's just do the other one. So we do the same thing, but this time we're doing a plus. Now you could probably cut and paste that. I'm just going to rewrite it. So negative b, now it's minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c over 2 times a. Now let's just go to the check. Okay, so you can see now it says stored successfully, but we couldn't really see that before because our label was too long. All right, so now on the left-hand side, you can go to quad and then just put your values of A, B, and C in. So I might just do a very basic one. I'm trying to think of one that might have solutions though. Can't think of one off the top of my head, but let's just do. Okay, so I picked one that I could actually know the answer to. So there we got -2 and -5. So basically this quadratic that I put there, let me just do that on this screen. So I had y equals x squared plus 7x plus 10. So you can put that into the quadratic formula, but this is an easy one to factorize anyway. So let's just quickly factorize it. So we need two numbers when multiplied give you 10 and when add give you 7. So that's going to be 5 and 2. And then using the null factor law, x plus 5 equals 0 and x plus 2 equals 0. So x equals -5 and x equals -2. So I know I've done it correctly, which is always good. Okay, so let's save it. All right, and I'm just going to call it the quadratic formula. Actually, I call it quad because that's what I called it before. Okay, and then just save, and there it is. So in 15 minutes, we've done 3 formulas, but have a go at doing maybe the sine rule, the cosine rule, or you might be interested in doing something else. All right, bye girls.